Hello everyone. I'm just gonna take a peek and make sure I can find myself. Let's see. Okie dokie. Still can't find me. Where am I? Reach. There I am. Never think to check my teeth before I get on here because I just finished eating. So, all right, I'm going to watch the comments up top for a minute. Hi, Angela. Hi, Linda. Nice to see you all. Happy almost new year, new decade. So I know the last Facebook Live, this will probably be the last Facebook Live of 2019. Happy New Year to everyone. Hi, Linda. Hi, Adrian. I'm going to try to go on either Thursday or Friday. So I don't have my new big calendar. I usually get a huge calendar from Disney. But when we went, we didn't go to any parks and they didn't have one on the cruise. So I'm waiting for two friends to tell me if they find one. Because it's my favorite thing. It's a huge calendar. It hangs on the wall. So anyway, I do have my little mini calendar from Suzanne, one of my downlines she made for me. So Wednesday will be the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and you can order from the new occasions catalog. I just got mine the other day. I always mail myself one, so if you're a customer of mine, you will have gotten one, but I got actually this after I got the celebration. So these are in effect January 3rd, which is going to be Friday. So Friday. Maybe I'll have to go live Thursday and Friday. We'll see how that goes. But so this goes live Friday, which also does mean if there is anything in the holiday catalog that's not carrying over, because this ends on Thursday at midnight. So then Friday, technically, the new one starts. There are some things that are carrying over, but some things aren't. So, like for example, this one was a really cute one. I made a really cute Valentine's card with this one. It was on YouTube, so that isn't carrying over, but there are lots of things that are, and there's also some things in the catalog that are going to be coming back, but they're not going to come back till the next holiday catalog, which doesn't make sense. It can be a little confusing, I should say. So just in case you are curious, there are some things, like for example, the Twelve Tidings, a couple of the DSPs will actually be back, but they won't be back until the next holiday catalog. However, they will still have new stuff as well, so that's pretty cool. So, one other thing I want to mention is I do have, and what do I have to show you? I can show you this. I do have still my ribbon and paper share. So, the paper share, this is just the Valentine's paper that I already have. But the paper share, I do have to order that on Friday, and I want to order it as soon as the catalog goes live, because a lot of times certain papers and ribbons and whatnot sell out. So if you are interested in doing a product share, I do have a link. I will post it when I go downstairs. I will post it to my page. That way if you wanted to sign up for it, but it is on my blog, which is rachthestamper.com. If you go to the December, January specials, it has the first bar underneath has the sign up form on Google to do a DSP or ribbon share, and there's also one to do both. So be sure if you want to take part in that. I have to order the order first thing Friday morning. That way we can make sure we get it in a timely fashion and you guys can use it. But you will get 1/4 of the DSP, and I believe the ribbon is 1/5 of the ribbon. So if that's something you're interested in, it's a good way to get a nice sampling of the paper without having to blow the bank and buy every single one. So you will get 6x6. And I will show you, I should have one here. I don't think I have one, but I do cut them down to 6x6. And then what I do is, hold on, I have something here. Here's what I shipped it in last time, just so you can see. But this is just a little holder it comes in. And then what I do is I label it with the paper name, all the colors it coordinates with, the reorder number, and then my information. That way you have it. So it's very handy in case you decide that you really like a certain type of a paper. So that comes in handy. So, hi Cindy. It's so nice to see everybody. I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. We did. Everybody's like, happy Monday. I don't even know what day it is. It's Monday. We did go see The Rise of Skywalker today, which was amazing if you are a Star Wars fan. And maybe if you're not, I don't know, and your kids just like it. It was such a great show. I really cannot wait to either be able to see it again or to come out on video so I can watch it. I do have Disney Plus, but I have a feeling it's not going to come out on there anytime soon because they only have certain things. But it was a great, great movie. Oh, hello from New Zealand. Hi, Sylvia. You know, I know that you all have had a lot of brush fires because it is summer in New Zealand, and someone was mentioning that the other day on a group that I'm in. So we are thinking of you. That is very, I can't even imagine just losing everything. But apparently the New Zealanders are all coming together and they're bringing water for people who can't have water and buying shares. And it's so nice just to see that when there are times of struggle that people come together. That is really very, very moving. And actually, as a matter of fact, I'm sending a bunch of cards over to New Zealand. I don't know how much it's going to cost, but I'm going to send some anyway. But I'm going to send a bunch of cards over there because they are putting these cards in places where people can still help people celebrate birthdays and anniversaries, because all those things will go on, especially for children. So they're trying to keep it so people can just pick these cards for free and send them out, which I think is really, really nice. So I'm going to send some cards. I don't remember the lady's name that I sent a message to, but I'm going to do that. And that movie has been hard to get into. You mean physically? Because where we went, there was like only maybe 12 of us, but we also did go 10 o'clock on a Monday. So that could be why. But hi, Brenda from Kansas. Oh, Brenda, I bet you have a lovely accent. Hi, Kathy. Thank you guys for stopping in. I appreciate it. So my thought was today, I wanted to make something, but I know we're kind of like in between. We're obviously over Christmas, right? We're like done with that before Christmas even got here because of the way stuff rolls. So I wasn't sure. What I did was I picked out a couple things in the catalog here that I thought we could make if I have the stamps, because I definitely have, if you have the Celebration catalog here, which this is the one that's got all the free stuff in it. Oh, Chris, hi from Australia. Hi, Anka. Nice to see you. Anka is going to be visiting. Anka's actually from the Netherlands. She did live here in the United States for a while. Good friends with my friend Rhonda, and she's going to be visiting. So I'm hoping when she gets to visit, we're going to have a card party. And maybe we can do like a live, like one of the stampers that watches will be live. Wouldn't that be awesome? I wish I could stamp with all of you sometime closer. Hey, Ivanel. I hope you, thank you, Kathy. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. We did here as well. So what my plan was is I was going to say, if everybody, because by now I hope people should have your catalogs. And yes, Pam, I did get your sign up. If everybody has their catalogs, they can pick maybe a page. And if I have the stamp set, we could make one of the cards out of here. Because another one that I thought would be really cool to make too, because I also thought maybe we could make a wreath builder card, which would be really fun to make. Maybe. I don't really know how it would turn out, but if we use the lily stamps. So, I don't know. If anybody has any ideas, I'm getting a little, you know, it was only so many days to go, so you're getting a little free and loose with flipping the catalog around, right? So, I did not get the Paris set, although I really wanted to, but I figured I needed to hold something off. I did just order the Stitched stars, if you guys remember me talking about the stars, and that they were, thankfully, they're carrying over. But in case you missed it, they have a brand new stamp set that's going to go with it. So I did order the stars, that way I can get the stamp set too. Diane, if you go to my, it's only in the United States, so that's one thing I should say, because shipping out of the country would probably be insane. I don't think I'm allowed to sell out of the country anyway, though. But the share listing price, it is on rachthestamper.com. If you go to the specials, you'll be able to click there and it tells you. The meerkats. Yeah, the meerkats are really cute. I agree. I really like the Country Club set. We made that card with the By the Dock bundle, which is nice. So lilies, you ordered the Stitch. Me too, Linda. They are on back order, but I figured, oh well, they'll come eventually, right? I also have the Do the Impossible, which is the bikers and the swimmers and the runners. So that's pretty fun. I have Mountain Air. So if somebody is looking at their catalog, if you happen to have your catalog and you can find a page, I also have Music from the Heart, which apparently, Dawn Olszewski designed that one. She designed that with them. That one is a musical stamp set, has a piano, a guitar, really cool. I thought that would be really fun to send out to a few people that I know. And where's the other one that I really liked? Because we made some of the mountain cards out of it already, which is pretty cool. We also have the beautiful Timeless tropical stamp set, which I love Hawaii, so any of that kind of tropical stuff is really fun. Although I do think that the Stays On, the Saddle Brown Stays On, I think is on back order already. I know that's crazy. And what else do I have? Label Me Bold. All right, so anybody, I think I did see the meerkats on here once. I think I saw somebody, let me just scroll back through, because if that's the case, we'll do the meerkats. Thoughtful Blooms. Ooh, I might not have that one. That's probably one watch I don't have. I think I have the words, but I don't think I got that stamp set, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Thoughtful Blooms, Thoughtful Blooms. Painted Poppies. Beautiful Moments, Thoughtful Blooms. Give me a page number there. I'm thinking I thought I knew what it was, and I guess I don't. I'm happy to make you happy if I have what it is you're looking for. Botanical. Hold on, I gotta look it up in the back here now that we have like a little mini index. The Lilies. I did not get Beautiful Moments. I really want to get the Make a Splash. I didn't get that one yet, though. I have to wait until I do my order. Thoughtful Blooms. Ooh, is that, maybe it's in, is it in the big catalog? Page 28. I did say, I don't have that one yet. Thanks for the page number there, Tina, but I'm wondering if she's talking about, oops, sorry, something that's in the, no, good gravy. Hold on, I'm looking. Hi, Gail. Thank you for the Christmas card, Gail. Gail sent me a Christmas card. I was very honored. And I have to send her card back now that I have her address since she moved. Thoughtful Blooms, Celebration. Did not get that one yet, but it's cute. Didn't get the honeybee. Look, everything you guys want. Did get the Power of Hope bundle. You said you're glad the holidays are over. Why? You had the hardest time. Me too, Pam. I didn't even know today was Monday. I did see something else somebody told me. The Lily, the meerkats. All right, let's see. I do at least have those two. Power of Hope. You know what, Marilyn? That's the one I really wanted to use. So Marilyn picked the winning stamp set. Yes, Happy New Year, Gail. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, hold on, I'm going to grab it because I have it here. I have like everything here. And actually, I did make a card with that Power of Hope stamp set. So I'm going to try to do something different. I made a card for a blog hop I'm participating in again with Kylie Bertucci. So that is the card the stamp set I used for that. So I just have to grab it and then we can do something with that for sure because I thought it was really pretty. Hey Veronica, how you doing? Happy New Year. I saw your beautiful card that you posted today. That Veronica designs cards also for Tammy, so she does a lot of really pretty ones. I have to get the honeybees, Tina. So all right, hold on, let me go over here. All right, so I have the Power of Hope. Now this is a celebration. I just tell you this real quick, make sure I tell you the right thing. It's a celebration thing and you get both when you order. So it's a bundle. So you get the stamp set and you get an embossing folder. And the embossing folder is stone. So it's really, really cool. And it's a 3D folder. Oh, also, by the way, I did get that that new cutting pad. So I'll show you. It works really well for the embossing folders. So in order to earn this, it's a $100 celebration thing. So starting January 3rd, you can earn this for free with a $100 purchase. So thank you, Pam. I appreciate that. Well, there'll be another one to vote on. I think it's next week. I'll let you know when it comes. But we will use this. There's a lot of really pretty cards. And what I'm going to do is I'm looking at the card that's in the celebration brochure. If you have it on page 15. So I'm going to make the card that is on the bottom left. And I think I know what they did with it, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to keep this open. Let me move a little bit of stuff out of the way. And I'm going to flip you guys down. But I'm going to make that. Let me move this over. Oh, I'm going to have to do one more little sneaky thing here because I have you on a stand. Hey, knocking stuff over as I go along. Keep this over here so it's kind of a surprise. I had to rearrange my stamp desk because the rainbow stamper wanted to, he wanted to color. He was coloring with my Stampin' Right markers, which he is very gentle with. I'm very surprised. So, all right, I'm going to flip you. So if you get sick, just look away. I'll tell you when we're done, okay? So I'm going to flip you over first. Pull you out. Oops. There's part of my Disney calendar. And, okay, we are, all right, we're safely seated there. So, oops. Pretend you didn't see that. Okay, let me swipe this over so I can see. All right, now I have my comments over here. So the card we're going to be using, we're going to use this folder, and we're going to use this stamp set. So this is a stone folder, so it's got lots of different stuff in it. And I'm going to show you how I think this card is made. So I'm going to grab just a couple things, that way I have them out so I don't make a big fat wreck. Oh, Rainbow Stamper sneaking up behind me. Oh, real quick, by the way, one other thing I want to tell you guys. I got this Fortune. We just had some sushi. And look what it says. I don't know if you can read that or not. You will do well to expand your business. So is that not the fortune for this year or what? So anyway, I'm going to get out the white paper. Can you be just a little bit quieter back there? Please.
I'm not even saying
that. Oh, you're not even talking. Okay, even better. I'm going to go with what my guess is, which is, I'm going to say gray granite. Seems to be, no, this is smoky slate. I think this is smoky slate. So I'm going to do a smoky slate base, and then I'm going to do another piece on top of it. Yes, buddy.
Can I please have another slice of pizza?
Yeah, when I come downstairs. You're going to have to wait a few minutes, okay?
I'm hungry.
Okay, well, can you go grab some cheese until that? You know, this is live. Could you not be rude, please? I don't know what happened, but the 6-year-old has taken over, and he's not as nice as he was when he was 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Christian, that's twice. 2 times. Don't embarrass yourself. Alright, so then I'm going to grab some terracotta tile, because I feel like terracotta tile is probably in here somewhere. And then we're going to just need a piece of Whisper White, and I think we're good. And I'm just going to use, the Rainbow Stamper needs something. I'm not quite sure what the word is that I want to use to describe, but he needs something. He needs something or other. He needs to go back and revisit his manners. Okay. So when they did this, and I'm just looking at this, please pardon me if I sound like I don't know what I'm doing here. But when they did this, it looks like what they did was they stamped onto this, and then they cut it out, and then they layered it onto something else. So I'm going to keep this piece, and I'm going to grab another scrap piece, and I'm going to attempt to recreate what they did. So what we're going to do first is we're going to do our stamping. So I'm going to grab the pagoda. And I absolutely love this stamp set. I think it is so, so pretty. And it looks almost as if what they did was they stamped it, or they inked it up with markers. And then we're going to give it like a light spray. So I'm going to do my best at doing this. We'll see. I'm going to go with some soft suede. So I'm just going to ink the bottom here in soft suede. Looks like maybe a little bit here. And then I think I'm going to end up going back and inking it again. Or maybe filling it in with something. So we'll have to see as we go along. Let's see. So there's that. I'm not sure. It kind of looks a little bit like Lovely Lipstick, so we'll do that. It's kind of fun sometimes. They usually will put out a, for demonstrators, they'll kind of give us this little, not really, it's not as an instructional like they used to do, where they would kind of tell you everything that went in to make the card. So it's kind of a recipe, but it's a little bit looser than it used to be. So, but it's kind of nice because at least it gives you an idea. But I think it's also kind of fun to be able to figure out what you think it is that they did with it before you find out. So that way we can end up with our own version. And then once they put out that PDF, which hopefully they will, we can go back and make it differently. Okay, so again, I did soft suede, lovely lipstick, and then shaded spruce. So I'm going to huff on this, stamp it. It kind of looks like it's fussy cut, so I'm going to make an attempt at doing that. So that looks pretty nice. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these respective colors. So same thing, soft suede, shaded spruce, lovely lipstick. This might be a little bit lighter, so I'm going to give this a little squeeze. And I just put this, nope, here it is. I have my, this is a aqua painter that's full of rubbing alcohol. So I'm going to just drip a little bit in because I want it to be a little bit lighter. Well, let's see if this works out to what I think it's going to do. So I'm going to just kind of fill this in a little bit. And I'm going to go back and fill in a little bit of the space as well. Just not sure what color I'm going to use just yet. Just bring like a little bit more of the darker color kind of for shading at the bottom. All right, so there's that. And then I'm just going to close this up. I want to go in with a little bit lighter, so I'm just going to do petal pink since I have it. Just a little bit of petal pink. And I'm just going to kind of fill in the underneath a little bit, which kind of slightly looks like what they have. Just a little smidge. There we go. All right, so that was petal pink and the lovely lipstick. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the soft suede. And I probably could go to crumb cake, but I'll just start with soft suede. So let me make sure this is nice and clean. Again, this is alcohol. So it's kind of nice because when you do these two together, it doesn't smudge. It's a little bit dark. It doesn't smudge the other colors, which is kind of cool. Put a little shading there. And then I want to bleed this green out just a little bit. Even though I'm going to trim it, I'm going to do a very fast and loose fussy cutting on this. Just kind of fill in, whoops, a little bit of the space. So that way if I want to cut it a little bit farther, it's not really going to interfere. So there's that part. I am going to leave this out because I'm going to do the trees. So kind of let this dry a little bit. And then I have two more. Let's see. This one is definitely, this was Thick Whisper White. I don't know if I have any other pieces here. Actually, I do, because I don't want to make you guys sit through the suffering since I'm not really prepared to with what I was doing. But I'm going to do the same thing with the tree, but I'm going to cut out two of them. So I'm going to try and fit two on the same one. So same thing again. I'm going to start off with the same color. So I'm going to do soft suede for the trunk. But I think I'm going to go with a little bit lighter of a green for part of the tree. I'm going to do a little bit of Granny Apple. Just like a couple spots. And then for the grass. And then coming back in again with the shaded spruce. Hopefully it looks okay. We'll have to find out. Worst case scenario, I guess we can always blend it afterwards, right? Okay, so same thing again. Just huffing. Well, that's not too bad. All right, I'm going to do the same thing again. I want to do one more tree. And this one I'm going to just go over with this in a couple spots. Just a little bit. And once more. Because I'm planning on doing a slight fussy cut to get these cleaned out. Okay, now I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to bring in Pear Pizzazz just a little bit to fill in some of the green. So I'm just making sure my aqua painter brush is clear and clean. And I'm just going to bring in a little bit and just kind of fill in some of the leaf color. Doesn't really have to be a lot. There we go. That looks pretty good. I don't know, I think I do a better job coloring upside down. What do you guys think? All right, I'm going to bring in just a tiny bit of the shaded spruce. Okay. All right, so now let's see. I don't have the magic of television here to do a speed cutting, so I'm going to do this quickly as I can, and then we'll finish up the rest of it. So I'm going to kind of cut, probably if you have one of those little scanning cuts, you probably could really make this be super quick, right? I'm just holding my scissors and kind of moving the paper around because it helps you get in the grooves a little bit better. And you could do this as close or not as you wanted. Because it's going to kind of be covered up, so we're not really needing it to be like super tight. So we'll leave that one. And we'll just do the same thing here. I know some people detest fussy cutting, but some of us like it. I don't know. I've always liked cutting paper. I remember when I was growing up, we had this really crazy heating system in our house, first of all. We had this heating system that kind of looked like a city grate. We always used to call it kind of like a homeless grate in our house. Our house was very, very old, and that was the only heat. But anyway, this door that sat in front of it went to the basement, which was super old and creepy and everything. And now what I'm going to do really quickly before I finish, where is it? Is this the right color? Granny Apple. No, I wanted Pear Pizzazz. I'm going to take the Pear Pizzazz and I'm going to just go around the tree to kind of get rid of that harsh white edge. So I'm just going to do it around the whole thing. Even though I know this isn't all green, but just so it kind of takes away the edge a little bit. So we had a super creepy basement and we had this black door in front of it. It was lacquer and had this huge mirror. And I remember when I used to practice, I was learning how to cut stuff. And I would always, I don't know if I'm the only person that did this, but I've seen kids do it. I used to cut with scissors and I would open and close my mouth the same time when I was cutting. Did anybody else do that kind of crazy stuff when they were growing up? All right, so there are those two. So let me just do a quick-ish. So I'm not going to be too close to the pagoda on this. I'm going to try to kind of stick with it for the most part, but I don't want to be super close. But I did keep my extra color there in case I didn't really like the way I did it. So I'm going to kind of try to leave a little bit of a border. Okay. Cut in. Hey, Pamela. Thank you for stopping in. All right, so. Oh, Lord, am I out of the way? I'm sorry. Sometimes I do stuff like that. I get so wrapped up in this, I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. Sorry about that. Not much point in coming on to watch somebody craft if you can't see what they're doing, right? We are having some really dismal weather here today. It's been raining for the past 2 days. Certainly not very holiday-like here. We did get a snow not too long ago, I think I was telling you guys about. So I'm guessing now here in Maryland, we're going to move on to our first fake spring. And then we'll get winter right about Memorial Day. All right, so that's pretty good considering. So I am going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do it with a really light gray. So I have gray granite. And I just like to do this to kind of get rid of the edges. So I'm going to just lightly trace around the edges. You could skip this completely. But I'm just kind of getting rid of a little bit of the harsh edge. Plus the other thing it will do is when you layer these two pieces together, it will give more dimension since this has an edge to it, if that makes sense. Okay, so we have our pagoda and our trees. We're going to put those there and get the rest of this stuff out of the way. Okay, so now the other thing is I think they actually use Cajun Craze, but I'm going to use the terracotta tile anyway because I think it looks nice. So we're going to go with, our base is going to be gray granite. So this will be our base card. And then we have this piece, which should be about the right size. So I'm going to cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4, if it's not already. 4. It's 4 by 5. So I'm going to make this 3 3/4, just so it lines up a little bit better. That way it doesn't look longer on one side and bigger on the other. This one does have a little dent in it, but we're going to run it through an embossing folder, so it doesn't really matter too much. In the meantime, let's see. These, so if we're going with this, which would be 3 3/4, so we'll do this at, let's try 3 inches. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but so 3 inches by 1 1/2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That could be just a little bit smaller. 1 1/4. I'm going to make these 1 1/4. So we're going to go with 3 inches by 1 1/4. See if I can get 2 more out of there. One 1/4. Okay, 1 1/4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We have our other piece. We have our square piece. We're going to attempt to put that on top of. The only other thing we're going to need is a piece for our sentiment. And that one might not look exactly the same. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do, move these over because I do want to be able to show you this part, is, where's my folder? I'm going to run this through the embossing folder. So I still have my same Big Shot. And I know even some people in my stamp club were having some issues with getting their folders to go through correctly. So what I did was I have my regular old Big Shot platform. This is probably one of the first ones it came with. There is another one that opens to layers. So if you have that one, you just want it to be open to the flattest layer. So it would have like the 1 and 2 on the side. So this is the new embossing folder. Okay, this is kind of like a in-between folder since we don't still have a die cutting machine, but it really does help with embossing. So all I did was use my Big Shot platform and this 3D folder. And you're going to take your folder and wherever that darn piece of paper is, here it is. One thing, nope, that's not it. Hold on. I lost it. One thing I do want to tell you is, here it is if you spritz your cardstock, it does tend to have a little bit more give to it, so it will make really, really deep impressions. So I have been doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spritz it. And I just happen to have, I mixed this up a while ago, so I just used what was left. This had like a drop of basic gray re-inker in it and some shimmer paint and then rubbing alcohol. So even when it gets low like this, and I'm just going to show you just for the sake of it, what you can do is, still have my bottle of rubbing alcohol here, and this is 70% isopropyl. That was just because what I had lying around, honestly. I didn't buy it specifically for this, but so I'm just going to refill this. And if you're filling it from the get-go, you probably want to leave about a 1/2 inch to drop in the re-inker and the color refill. So the re-inker and the, the re-inker and the shimmer paint. And then, so you would put a drop of that in and a drop of the other one in. And then you're going to just put the cap on. And I say to leave space because, believe it or not, this little part here does make the stuff pop up. And then you're just going to shake it really good. And then you're going to spritz it. You can be as generous as you want with your spritzing. Since it has alcohol in it, even though I know it does look a little bit wrinkly, it will dry a little bit faster. So I'm just going to put this in. And I'm going to put it so the opening is going in. I'm sorry, so the opening is going out. And then crank it through. And then you'll have this. So you see that looks really cool. So I'm going to turn on my heat tool for a minute because I do want to dry this out because we're going to add a little bit of white to it. So let me just move this out of the way. So far I've just used this with embossing folders. I haven't used it with any die cuts yet or with embossing with any die, so I'll have to keep you updated on that. But I'll keep you posted to let you know how that goes. I'm just gonna heat this up just to get it to dry a little bit with my heat tool. Also, as a note, in case you haven't been able to find them, we do have cutting plates back in stock again. They are not Sizzix brand. I don't know what brand they are. I have not ordered them yet. But they are back in stock. I think if you go to my online store and you look up cutting plate, they should come up. So I'm just going to leave that just running on low. So since I finished this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my white pigment ink. So this obviously is super duper old. If you buy this nowadays, this actually comes uninked. And then they give you the re-inker to fill it with. But mine is really, really old. Like really, really old. And also, one other thing to note, where is it here? I do have blender pens that I use for just the white, because the white craft ink, along with the black, does not come off very easily. So I only use these brushes for white ink, and then I have one that I only use for black ink, because it is really hard to get it out of the blender pen. So you can dip straight into the pad, or you could take your re-inker and put a pool of it onto a block if you don't have that. So I'm going to just go over this. And the only reason I'm keeping that heat tool running is just so I could dry this, because otherwise this craft ink does take a significant amount of time to dry. So I'm just kind of coloring in some of these spots. You could do this also if you wanted to with a sponge and just kind of rub it over some of the edges if you'd like. The white craft ink does really, it takes a minute to dry, but it definitely gives you a really different look. Another really cool thing, if you've never used white craft ink before, if you haven't and you're kind of like, what do I even use this for? It looks really neat if you either use it on black, because then it kind of looks like a chalkboard, or if you do it on navy, is another really cool idea. All right, so I think I'm going to do just maybe one more, because a lot of this is going to get covered up in the middle, so I don't really want to harp too long on that. And I could always add more if I'd like. So just go a little bit to the end. So I'm going to close this up for now. I'm going to leave this over here in case I want to use it again. I'm just going to hit this real quick. And then I think I'm going to use as the accent color, because they used, I don't know, it kind of does look like Peacock. I was going to say I'm going to use Peacock instead, but I'm going to use Peacock, which is what I think they used. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of figure out how I want to line this up. So I have my little piece here. Let's see what these look like. We'll do these. This might be too many. I'm just going to go with 3. And you could even cut those down thinner if you wanted to. It is, you know, up to whatever you want to do. So this is going to be my piece. I'm going to trim this down a little bit. Let me grab my little trimmer here. What is this? This is 3. Yeah, I think I'm going to do, I wonder if it's going to fit though. Hold on. Let's take a peek. So if we were to put this here, I'm just trying to figure out the layout. Put this here. Maybe these aren't going to go exactly lined up. And I may end up, I'm going to trim these down. I'm going to end up trimming these down to 1 inch. Just that way, I'm not sure if I'm still going to use 3 or 4, but that way there's a little bit more space. Okay, so let's see if we want one down like that. We have our little thing. That still covers too much. So I'm going to actually cut this down for now. I'm going to go with 2.5 by 2.5. Hopefully I'm not going to regret this. 2.5 by 2.5. We'll have our pagoda. We'll put one tree kind of in the background. One tree maybe over here. These might switch. I'm going to put that up on a dimensional. This one here in a sentiment. All right, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to trim this one down. I'm going to trim down the fourth one just in case I decide to use it. We'll have to see how it goes. Okay. And one more thing I'm going to do, just for the sake of kind of adding something to the background here with this terracotta, I'm going to grab my terracotta ink. And where did I put mine? Let me clean this off. I'm going to clean off my tree. Not really. You could also use this if you wanted to. You could use the lantern, but I'm just going to stick with the tree since I already cleaned it off. So I'm going to just line these up. And that's why I said we may or may not use all 4 of them. We'll just see what it goes with. Oops. And I'm just going to ink this in terracotta. Now they're going to be separated, so you're not going to really see them together. So in case you're like, what in the world did she just do? Sometimes I don't know either, so bear with me. All right, so let's take this, move these over, and I'm going to do this one with a little bit of fast fuse, since I still have some. Thankfully, Donna was nice and sent me all her refills. So I'm going to kind of just go for lining this up somewhere in the center. Kind of like that. And you can always take your bone folder too and give it a good press. Okay. Then we have our pieces. So let's, before we finish with anything, see what we think. Maybe I will go with 4 because I kind of do like the spacing. 4, and then we'll have our, this one needs to go up just a little bit, I think. This. All right, so I'm going to put these down with liquid glue. That way, if I don't like the way they are, I can still have a little bit of chance to move them. So, some liquid glue. This one was up pretty high. Let's make sure that still looks pretty good. Let me scoot this down just a little. Nope, it's already glued. It is where it is, Rachel. You've lost it. All right, so what I'm going to do with this, I do still have some dimensionals. I'm going to just put some of this little strip here. And thankfully, the black dimensionals will still be carrying over in case anybody was worried. Put one of these in the middle. So that's the end of that sheet. Okay. Still have to, only other thing we have to do is our sentiment. That's the only other thing. So they have theirs done with white embossing powder on, looks like Pretty Peacock. Let's see what this looks like. So what did we say again? We kind of went with that here and there. All right, we'll go with that since that's kind of what it looks like I laid it out to be. Probably would be a smart idea, just for support of this, to put a dimensional here, just to keep that up. Probably could have done with one underneath, so I might try and squirrel one under there. Same thing on this side. I'm just going to put a dimensional kind of here and glue the rest of this. Kind of slide that in, and this one's just going to go on flat. Other thing you could do ahead of time too is you could have done the top layout. That way you can make sure everything is really tightly glued if you wanted to. Because I know some of this is a little bit of a curl. But if you hold it down for a moment, once you do the liquid glue, it does stick really well. This is just the slightest, there we go, bit crooked, so that's better. All right, we're still going to have to figure out exactly how we're going to work our sentiment in here. So I definitely will say, if I can reach any of the tiny ones, put a tiny dimensional under the bottom of this. Let's see. And I'm going to put one under here as well. That actually has room for a big one probably. Hopefully. Let's see if I can fit it under there. Pretty close. Okay, so there's that. So you could totally stop here. You could stop here. You could, this probably could be a little bit straighter, but I think it kind of is where it is now. But they do have a sentiment layered over this kind of on the side. So what I think I might end up doing is actually putting it down a little bit lower, because the way I've pieced this together, it is a little bit different. So you could either put your sentiment over here in a little oval or up top in a little oval. You could have even just with this to kind of give it a separation. Theirs is a stitched square, so you could have done the stitch square. You could go ahead and do that with a little bit of gray. You could take your gray marker before you put this down. You could outline the edge of it. That way it sticks up. So lots of different things you could do. But I am going to do the last thing, which is the peacock. And I just don't know if white is what I want to do with it. What do you guys think? Should I do white on peacock, or I think silver would look kind of neat, but I almost wonder if it would be like too much. And also, if I were to make this again, just telling you this now, I think I would have gone with the terracotta, matching the paper in the background instead of the pink. Although it does look nice, I think it would have lended a little bit better to the cohesion of it. So you got this set, you love it. I just ordered 2. I know, I got Tombow myself as well. As a matter of fact, that's funny. You're late, but you're here. That's okay. All right, so I love the small trimmer, especially for doing these little sentiment thingies. Oh my gosh, it's really, really awesome. Hi, Luann. Didn't know you popped in here. All right, so I'm going to grab the peacock paper. And, oh, that's not peacock. Did I get it out already? Nope. There it is. So I have a little scrap that I'm going to use. I think I must have used this recently for when I made those boxes, the parcel boxes. All right, so hi Sherry, thank you for stopping in. Oh, now look, Siri thinks I'm talking to her. Siri, oh stop it. Siri's always jumping in when you don't want her, isn't she? Sheesh. And what do we have? Today is a day for new beginnings. I'm going to use that one again. I thought that was really nice. I like that one. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do it in the white. So I'm going to heat up my heat tool here. So just ignore that for a moment. I'm going to go ahead and grab my Versamark. And I'm going to grab my Embossing Buddy. Just making sure I cut down on static. And get out my white embossing powder. Where is it? And I'm going to use, just for a more white, I'm going to use the white Pigment Ink. So, we're going to do that instead of that. All right, so I have my sentiment. We'll see how this looks. I'm actually going to do 2. Because sometimes when you stamp it on one, it doesn't look as good as you think it's gonna look, crisp-wise. And let's see if I can clean this off. And I'm going to do one more, whoopsie, with Versamark, and we'll see which one looks clearer. Okay, I'm going to set that on the side. I'll heat that in 1 second. Okay. All right. I'm just giving this a second to dry. I will say, I think that the one done with the Versamark has a little bit clearer looking words versus the one done with the white craft ink, which is sometimes why I don't really like to use words with that necessarily, because I don't think it comes through quite as clearly. So I'm just using this just a microfiber towel just to kind of get the rest of the residual dust off from the embossing buddy. Chuck that. All right, so what I'm going to do now, instead of doing it kind of like they had it, I'm going to do it, I'm just going to cut both of these out. I'm going to do it with the trimmer. So we'll see if I can somehow manage to make this straight. So I'm going to keep it really close, which I think is one of the nice things about the trimmer. You can make it, I really have always had a super hard time with getting those really tight word trims with the bigger trimmer. So I really do like it for that. But you may or may not like it for that. I think it's really nice. Only thing is, I will say, if I was wishing and I was the person that made the decisions, I probably would have made it just a little bit bigger so you could actually cut like to, because this one ends at 4 1/4. I kind of wish it was like 5 1/2 by 4 1/2, just so it was a little bit bigger. But I do think it's really handy for trimming up sentiment. So as you can see, it does trim really nicely. You can get really close to stuff, which I've always struggled to do. Whenever I did it, I ended up something would be crooked, but I think turns out that I think it does it really well. So the one that I liked better, I believe, was this one. So I'm just going to put this here. Let's see. Where do we like it? I think I actually might leave it at the bottom and kind of half pop it up. So let me grab my dimensionals. And I'll put just a little bit of glue on the end so I can kind of connect it to the pagoda there. Well, the pagoda scene, I should say. Oh my gosh. You guys have no idea how much I need Tombow, because I am on my very last bottle. And even with my Tipsy, it's not really, because believe me, it's sitting upside down for a week. I haven't done any crafting since before Christmas. It hasn't, been putting out as much as it normally does. I just want to leave like a little bit of that ink peeking through, or the color terracotta. Okay, so I think that's it. Let me move this out of the way so you guys can see what we've done here. So again, this is something you can get with the celebration that's coming up with a $100 purchase. The stamp set and the folder are a combo, so you get those free with a $100 purchase. So it's really fun, I think, adding in this white. So what you could do, because a lot of the white that I did was covered up, so what you could do is you could take your blender pen again, and just dip back into your ink, and then just find like a couple more spots and maybe make like a white stone look. I'm not 100% sure, but this would be a great thing if this folder carried over into the new annual catalog. One can dream, right? Maybe I missed something and that has been announced, which would be awesome, but just gonna put a little bit more white. It's kind of nice though, because you could also do this in terracotta and then have like an old style brick building kind of look. Doesn't even have to be fully white, but I think it looks really, let me just close this up so you can see what I'm doing. It looks really, really cool. Just with that little bit of white on there. And I know it is really dark, so the lighting is definitely not optimal in here, but it's really neat. Lots of fun with the layers. Again, you can't really even tell that those are the trees in the background. It just kind of looks like something filling in the space. So that's really pretty. Probably could have put this one back a little bit farther, but my aim was to cover the tree with the sentiment, kind of the style they did. But I think it looks really fun. And then you could add really anything onto the inside, because this does have, hope is the power that makes all things possible. You could absolutely add that on the beginning. And the other card that I did, I don't want to show it to you, but because it's for the blog hop, but I did this on the inside with the a little strand of the lantern, so that's really cute. So you could totally, well, dimensional, you could totally add that to the inside as well. And then again, with this being heat embossed, yes, it was a bunch of different steps, but I think it's kind of fun to be able to play around with something and make it into something that's really cool. So one other thing, might as well tell you guys too, if you do decide to join my team, you will get this trimmer as part of the incentive to join as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. There is no requirement to make videos like these or have parties or anything. A lot of people just do it because they can get some great stuff to get started with crafting. So you also do get a 6x6 DSP sampler. So it's not all the paper, it's just a selection of some of the papers. You do get that as well. And then you get also one stamp set, not Celebration, but one stamp set, any current stamp set. So it doesn't matter how much it costs. You do get to pick one additional free stamp set, and then you get to pick $125 worth of merchandise. Anything you like, clearance rack, Christmas stuff, whatever the case may be. For $99, it ships free. They also send you some business supplies in case you decide you would like to become a demonstrator and have parties and such. But again, there's no pressure to do that. And you get a free paper pumpkin as well. So if you would like to do that, you do have to, in order to get the special, you do have to wait till January 3rd to sign up, because that's also how you're able to pick out of the occasions catalog. So at that point, you wouldn't be able to pick holiday stuff unless it was in the carryover and not the holiday carryover list, which I know, again, does sound very confusing. But lots of great things. If you're part of my team, I would love to have you. We have meetings and we have fun, and we try to really help each other, support each other with business. I've had one team member who has been on my team as long as I have been a demonstrator, almost, maybe about 3 months under. So Rose has been with me for a super duper long time, but it's lots of fun. You can get it just for the products and then say sayonara. I don't know if that's Japanese. I believe it is. That was totally play on words. I don't even know how that came out. But anyway, if you have any questions, send me an email at rachthestamper@gmail.com. I'm always happy to answer them for you. There is, again, no obligation to sell. And if you decide that after the time period expires, when you would start purchasing things and you don't want to anymore, you just go our separate ways. You keep your stuff and keep on crafting. So I hope to see you guys more in the new year, which is only several days from now. So I'm going to try to come back again on Thursday, which will be January the 2nd. I won't be live on the 1st. Maybe there's a possibility, but probably not. So most likely you'll see me again on January 2nd, and then I will resume my regular live schedule, which is Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, starting on the, what day would that be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Starting on the 8th. Is that right? 9, 10, 11. Yeah, because my birthday's 3 days after that. Whoop, whoop. So thank you guys for joining. I hope you had a wonderful time today. I missed you all, and I look forward to crafting with you guys once again real soon. Thank you so much for stopping by, for all the comments and the shares. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas, and I hope you have a very safe, healthy, and happy new year. I look forward to seeing you again more in 2020. I cannot believe it's going to be a brand new decade. Who knew? If I would have known that back in 2010 that I'd be making videos, I'd told people they were crazy, but here we are. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.